Hi, I'm Femi OK, and you're in the stream. Today, Greece's debt negotiations have taken many twists and turns, but how is the crisis affecting everyday life for the Greek people? Oh my goodness, Grace, I don't know how you're keeping up with everything that has happened in the last week. But if you're online, I know the hashtags are helping you. So many hashtags. Malika, I know you've been picking out some of them.
This has definitely been a story about the battling hashtags. And so the best way to follow it is to take a look at a few of them. So we pulled out a few for you. Grexit, it has 273,000 tweets over the past month. People are discussing the probability of Greece exiting the Eurozone over the debt crisis. The next one is Ohi or No, which has 63,000 mentions. The majority are from the past week, as Greeks are sharing the reasons why they'll vote no in Sunday's bailout referendum. And then we have Stay in Europe with 65,000 tweets, mostly in the past 2 weeks, as Greeks are tweeting in support of staying in the Eurozone. Now, of course, this is a live conversation, and you can join it by using our hashtag, AJStream.
Hi, I'm Mattheos Tsintakis. I'm a journalist for several media in Greece, and I'm in the stream.
Greece's debt crisis has dominated international headlines for the last 2 weeks, and a lot has changed along the way. After days of trading barbs with his country's European creditors on Wednesday, Greek Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras seemed to have conceded to many of the terms of a €1.6 billion debt payment plan. But with the deadline already passed, European authorities say they will not pick up negotiations until the Greek people have their say in a referendum this weekend. The country's financial fate is uncertain, so we're going to explore how this crisis is affecting the lives of young Greeks. To help us do this, we have in Athens, John Consolos, who runs an inn just minutes from where protesters have been gathering all week ahead of the referendum. Manolis Spatis, hello there, John. And Manolis Spatis is an unemployed Greek and a supporter of the Tsipras government and plans to vote no this weekend. Margos is a psychologist who works with the long-term unemployed. And in the United Kingdom, we're joined by Ilana Megra. She is a Greek undergraduate student. It's good to have you all here, everybody. Margot, help us out here. When your country is broke, give us an example, some insight into what life is like, everyday life.
The few last days, it's like a little bit of panic everywhere. We're all frustrated, we're all anxious, we don't know what exactly is going to be tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. We're talking about all these things, the bailout, the banks, how much money can we get out of the bank or not. We talk about this all day, every day with everyone. What are we going to vote, yes or no?
Wow. Panic, John? Have you felt the panic?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm like all other Greeks. I feel scared, a little bit angry, but mainly scared. However, having said that, I'm one of these, I think, few people who aren't quite as willing to get drawn into this sort of polarization. I think it's not good for us. I don't think it's good for the society. I don't think we should have been posed this question right at this point in time.
Right.
There's another story from someone in Greece. This is Stathis, who says people are tired of the absurd austerity measures that make them poorer day by day, and the 400 minimum euro wage for many at best. And so that leads me to this next one. You've heard that story, but then there's this question from someone on Twitter, Manolis, and Sharaz wants to know how this has impacted your way of life. So could you give us a story that indicates how you've been affected, Manolis?
How have been affected by the capital?
Yes.
Control. I haven't. I mean, I have to live with 12 euros per day, and the limit for the daily withdrawal is 60 euros. I mean, my actual standards is 80% of the maximum limit that the government has set. So this whole thing hasn't changed my life.
Let me just bring in Iliana. Iliana, you're over in the UK, but I know you've got family back in Greece. I'm looking here at the banks back here on my laptop. There's a little infograph that if you go on the referendum page, you can find what the capital controls are. So basically limitations to what you can do with your money if you're Greek. So the banks are closed until July the 7th. And certain things are guaranteed. You can only get so many euros out on your ATM card. Iliana, is this affecting you even though you're in London?
Absolutely, because first of all, I would like to clarify that I only came back to London yesterday. So I was there for all the previous days, while from the referendum announcement till yesterday morning. But first of all, I think it directly affects me while I'm abroad because I cannot use my Greek credit or debit card, and my parents cannot send me money. So this has a direct effect on my life right now. But besides that, even while I was in Greece and the capital controls were imposed, I don't think it's only about the 60 euros, for me at least, because I wasn't spending 60 euros per day. It's about the fact that, first of all, in a lot of ATMs, there aren't even 60 euros, there aren't even 50 euros, there are no money. And secondly, for example, my grandparents are retired and they're 80 years old, and they went there and they queued and queued and queued, and they still didn't get their money, and they needed to buy.
So when they didn't get their money, so they stood in a queue for a long time, and they put in their ATM card. What happened? Nothing? Iliana?
Nothing, because the ATM didn't have money to give, any money to give them, while they were promised that on Monday they would get their pensions.
Sure.
There's questions, Femi, on what this does to the Greek psyche. What happens when you can go to an ATM, know that you have money, and are not able to withdraw it? So this is Mona. She says, Germany and its satellites have played the nationalist populist game very well against Greece. National stereotypes exist, the vilification and the demonization of the entire Greek population, on whom the whole blame for this financial crisis was placed. So Margot, is this something that you've heard from other people, this vilification? They feel like they've been demonized as Greeks?
Yes, that's something you can hear outside in the streets, that it was all our fault, what happened. I don't think that it is exactly like this. I mean, I believe that there has been a lot of mistakes made in Greece for the past decades. That's true. And the last 5 years of the crisis, we continued making mistakes. I believe also that the European Union and the institutions made mistakes.
I'm just going to share a post that, Iliana, you wrote for the Financial Times. It's here on my laptop. It says, the past 5 days have been worse than all that has gone before. What's been so bad about the last 5 days in particular for you?
I think that besides the uncertainty of how I would even survive these days while that I'm in London, because I came for my graduation, since my parents cannot send me money and I cannot use my cards, etc. But it's not about that. Honestly, it's the mood that is dominant, has been dominant in Greece ever since the referendum announcement. And for me, what's worse is the fact that the nation has literally been divided in yes and no camps. And I think there's nothing sadder than that, because we're supposed to make a decision that will be for our benefit as the Greek people as a whole. And the fact that we were so keen to divide ourselves in two from the moment that the Prime Minister announced the referendum, I think it's the worst thing that could happen right now.
John, when you look back over this last week, what shocked you the most? What made you be the most depressed about the situation in Greece?
I agree with Iliana. It's this realization that fault lines within our society, which have existed actually for millennia. You know, we founded democracy, but we also have a long history of infighting. So you know, there's some kind of historical kind of relevance there. but it's just really sad. It's really sad because this is a time that requires unity in the face of, a communal problem. We all have this problem. We're all sick to death of austerity. We all want a better future for our country and for future generations. We want an end to this. We just can't seem to agree on what the best stance is in order to achieve that. And it's really sad. It's really sad.
Well, Manolis, there's a question I'm going to direct to you here from Osman on Twitter. He wants to know, do you have faith in Tsipras's policies? If so, why? And if not, then why not?
Well, no, I don't trust Tsipras as a government. I wasn't a voter. I was shocked when you called me an advocate of his government. I'm not voting to support Tsipras. I'm voting no to stop austerity and keep fighting after the referendum so austerity will be broken. I don't know if this is enough.
Let me show you something. I was
actually ordinary people.
Manolis, I think we're going to call you back because we're having trouble hearing you. We see you perfectly, but we don't hear you as well. We'll get back to you in just a moment. I was texting with a World Bank program manager yesterday, and he gave me permission to share this text with you. I tweeted it out earlier. And he said he's never seen a bunch of amateurs like this running a developed country. John, is that a little bit harsh way of describing your politicians?
Yes, that makes me very angry. Not only because there's a real irony in this whole situation. I'm sick to death of hearing from bureaucrats and technocrats, that God, guys, you've got to kind of, you've got to tighten your belt. This just won't do. From a cadre, a whole sort of generation of people who, let's face it, have jobs for life, pay no taxes themselves, and they've sort of got a very good thing going. I do not accept. I'm infuriated actually that sort of critique from that kind of person.
So how would you review the performance of your Prime Minister, your Finance Minister, how they're dealing with this huge crisis for Greece right now? What's your
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree with the sentiment. I just resent being told it by someone who's far away in the other
it's all right.
side of the world.
Okay, so we could. I get that.
Yeah.
I get that totally. We can say that our politicians are a bunch of amateurs, but you can't say that, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. That's
you don't want anyone
else.
Yeah.
Who's it coming from? This guy's earning 3.6% on my taxes, on my tax contributions as interest. I don't want to hear anything from him.
Ileana.
If he wants to contribute some taxes as well, then we can find some middle ground.
All right, okay. All right, critics from within Greece only, thank you. Ileana, go ahead.
You know what? I do understand what John's saying because I have great friends at uni and we have amazing political conversations, etc. But they told me the other day, I know what I would vote in the referendum, and I got furious. I mean, I could see that their arguments were absolutely valid, but the fact that it sort of insulted me that they would say that they know what they would vote for or against, because I think that you cannot know because it's personal. It is personal, not about each person's benefit. That's not what I'm saying. It's just that each of us has lived through this crisis in a different way. And when you've been living through this for 5 years and you have known exactly what has been happening in these 5 years, and not just in the past week when Greece became, top news, then no, you cannot know what you would vote because you haven't lived through it. You haven't suffered from it.
Ileana, I'm actually really glad. Ileana, I'm glad that you mentioned that because you talked about not knowing what this is like if you're not living there. So on the one hand, there have been some calls of solidarity from around the world. I want you to take a look at this map. And these are people from all around the world who've said, we stand in solidarity with the Greeks. In Ireland, you had Irish residents tweeting with hashtag Ireland stands with Greece. In Valencia, Spain, you saw messages like this, Greece is not alone. And in Belgium, You had a rally to end austerity now, and that was also in solidarity with the Greeks. But then on the other hand, you have tweets like this. I pulled this one up on my computer. This is Effie, who says, people all over the world, including in the UK, are losing lots of money because of Greeks and Germans' folly. Either make it or break it. So, Eliana, I know that you were talking about people not being able to comment on this if they're not living through it, but that's exactly what people are doing.
No, not able to comment. We absolutely appreciate their solidarity. Honestly, it has given me, especially after this letter, the messages that I received, you know, that they encouraged me so much to keep on believing that something better will happen and not be scared of the future. Absolutely, that's amazing. It's amazing. And I honestly, I truly appreciate it. Not just for us as individuals, the people that ask us, how are you okay, etc. But the people that don't even know us and that stand by our country and the people in general. But what I'm saying is that it's different to comment and to stand by us, and different to dictate what you would vote. And I understand that, that's why I understand John's point, that when the creditors say it, you feel you have some authority imposed on you, but and not to support them, but I understand that when you're in a deal that it's from both sides, you sort of have some right to suggest something. But especially when you're just reading the news, you know, and you cannot just tell me what to vote, because and be
I'd
sure
like to
about
ask,
it.
Yeah, go ahead, John.
Yeah, I'd like to ask Ileana, just out of curiosity, what her friends said they would vote. What's the general trend among the people who have offered their opinion to you? Is it yes or no?
Oh, they're, again, even my friends here, they're separated in two camps. But yeah.
Do you guess? Yeah, go ahead, Margot. We can. Go ahead.
I cannot, unfortunately, but I can hear you.
Good.
I think that at the moment, exactly what Ileana described is the biggest problem, even bigger than the closed banks or anything. The fact that we argue between us, we argue all the time, and we don't simply argue, we fight between us about what we are going to vote, why, no, you shouldn't. I mean, my Facebook, the homepage in my Facebook is separated in two parts.
Give us a little snippet of Margot. Give us a little tone of the yes camp on your Facebook feed.
Yes, it's like a big yes to Europe. We stay in Europe. We support the Eurozone. Greece is a part of Europe. No is that no more to measures, no more to austerity. We have to say a big no to all these things that happened to us the past 5 years, and we didn't see any results.
I'm sorry, but can I just say one more thing?
You are. Go ahead, Ileana.
Thank you. I think that there is so much confusion and there is this intense separation between yes and no camps because of the referendum question. Because I don't think that any Greek person wants more austerity. Literally every Greek person I know has suffered.
What do you think you're voting for on July the 5th? What do you feel that you're voting for? I'm right here on the referendum July the 5th, 2015 page here. And if I scoot down a little bit, it has details, info and infographics, why a referendum, lots of information. Do you feel you know exactly what you're voting for, what you're voting for yes, and what you're voting for no? John?
Absolutely no. Oh.
Yeah, all right. John, and then I'll come back to it. Ileana's like, she has no clue what she's voting for. John, are you clear what yes means and what no means? Yeah.
About what? No one does. Not even the European institutions know. Apparently, it's uncharted territory.
Who's helping you? Who's helping you be informed for July the 5th? It's literally hours away.
Yeah, I believe that the fear that's been generated over the last few days, when the tap was shut off on our credit line, and we felt this very intensely. The panic is kind of contagious. It's really weird. It's overtaken everything else.
But panic for what? What are people doing? How is that panic manifesting itself? But yeah, go ahead, Manolis. What's
okay.
panic? What
so
panic look
the
like?
thing is, I think in this country, all the 5 years of the bailout programs, I've heard the Armageddon scenario being played on the media again and again in the event that the program was not, met up with. And I think that we are under a scare campaign by the media. I mean, you can't imagine.
Is this your media, Manolis, or is it all media?
Yes, the Greek media, yes.
The Greek media.
Are
Why are they trying to scare you?
They have been,
from your perspective, why are they trying to scare you?
They have been even showing images from an earthquake in Turkey since the 90s, and they were saying that it was pictures from Greece. They were showing people, an old man holding 2 breads and crying, and they were saying that this was after 2015. It was a huge lie. I mean, they've been saying all day and all night about the queues on the ATMs, and this is causing even more people to panic and go and queue in the cash machines.
Right.
I mean, if you see...
And I also...
All right, go ahead. And quickly, because we're almost at the end of the programme, quick comment from Margot, quick comment from Eliana, and also we've got the community gagging to get in as well. Margot?
I'm really sad of what is happening, and what I believe is that we don't have a good option and a bad option, and that's the saddest thing. We have 2 bad options, and we have to choose which will be the less harmful from the 2 bad options. The next few months and years will be difficult, that's for sure. So what I'm trying to think is which will be the last harmful solution for my country. That's the saddest.
And what did you decide? What's the least harmful from your perspective?
I think I will vote for yes, I think.
Malika?
Well, this is the exact same thing people are debating online. This is Mahi. She says, I have come home just to vote yes to Europe and no to the reckless handling of Greece's future by the Syriza government. And then on the other hand, John, there's this video comment from Vasilis, and you can hear what he had to say.
I will vote for no at the referendum. Not because I'm against Europe, but exactly the opposite. Me, and many others like me, want to declare that austerity policies did not only fail to reboot economical growth, but they have put in danger the fundamental basis of Europe itself.
So, John, what's your take?
My take is that we, rather than be European partners, I think we've suddenly woken up to discover we are dependent on Europe. I mean, we cannot survive, literally cannot survive, without the capital, products, and governance from Europe right now, and the infrastructure coming from Europe right now. So I think there's going to be a yes, but I do believe that the last link has been broken, and this is the beginning of a long goodbye.
Interesting.
That's true. Totally.
Margot?
Can I
That's
just...
true. I'm totally with John. Totally.
Margot is a psychologist. Margot, we weren't pulling on your expertise today. We were really asking you as a young Greek person living in Greece. If you had to sum up the mental health of Greece right now, what would you say?
Mental health of Greek people has been really, really worse the last 5 years. Every year is getting worse. I'm working in a place where long-term unemployed people are coming for psychological support. So it's getting really worse. The depression, phobias, and everything is raising. We're not in a good psychological situation, that's for sure. Not even us, but we are the experts, let's say. It's difficult. It's really difficult, and I think that insecurity is the worst thing. We don't know what is going to happen tomorrow.
Right.
And that raises all the phobias and fears that each one has inside.
Wow. Okay, we're going to be watching this with great interest. I wish you well, John and Manolis and Margot and Ileana. Ileana, yes, you can just say one last thing. In fact, you can say many things, but in the post show at stream.aljazeera.com. We're not done yet. I'm not saying goodbye to you yet. I'm taking all of you to the post show. We will continue our conversation online. Let me tell you very briefly about Monday's programme. What happens when a situation like Greece happens in a US territory? We will be looking at life in Puerto Rico, the tiny island with the giant debt. That's on our Monday edition of The Stream. But right now we continue to talk about Greece and Greek debt online at stream.aljazeera.com. Hope to see you there. Thanks for watching. Hello again. This is our online post show. We're going to pick up our discussion about Greece's debt. Ileana said, can I say one more thing? Ileana, you can say many more things. What was that one more thing that you wanted to say? You can start us off with that.
Okay, great. Thank you. Just concerning what Manoli said about the propaganda from the media, because I've been hearing this as an argument a lot. The only thing that bothers me with it is that it sort of decreases your capacity to think, because obviously we all realize that, especially in Greece, the media has different makes profit because of the sides that they will support as well. So however, though, I mean, what has scared me is not the media, it's the fact, it's the government's decisions, especially in the past week, following 5 years of acute financial crisis for all of us. But the past 5 days, that's why I said that they have been the worst, because they have literally, at least they have made me panic, but not the media, the government, because I just don't understand what they're doing and what they want to achieve. It's so unclear.
Malika?
She talked about it being unclear. That's something that we're hearing online as well. This is something that you all raised a little bit earlier, but it's repeated here on Twitter. Athena says the referendum decision was fast and people are judging according to what they presume that a yes or no might be, but that's not exactly clear. So here's one person's idea. This is Mahi. She says Greeks have sacrificed a lot over the last 5 years to stay in Europe, and a no win in the Greek referendum would probably expel us from the euro. Margot, of course, we've already heard the Prime Minister, we've heard Greek politicians say that that is not what this referendum is about, and that is not what a no vote would mean. But still, you have this fear. There are lots of tweets like this. Where do you think that's coming from?
I'm not sure at all that each Greek understands the same thing concerning this referendum. I don't understand why we have to do this referendum. I think that this creates a lot of division in the country, first of all. But secondly, each one thinks something different. My grandmother told me, what is this yes and this no? I don't understand. What is this?
Is your grandmother going to be voting on July the 5th?
Yes, of course.
But she doesn't know what she's voting for.
No, because she cannot understand. I had to explain her thing. Okay,
Wow.
and I think people are like this. Other people say that no means that we will be negotiating in a more strong way the next days. Other people say no means we are going to drag funds. I mean, this is a mess with the referendum. This is a total mess.
Manolis, go ahead.
Yes, okay. Well, the question is pretty clear. I mean, even on the ballot paper, you can read there is one proposal by the institutions and you vote yes or no. The rest of it is just interpretation. I mean, I am an advocate of Brexit. I would like to see Greece being out of Eurozone, but unfortunately, the referendum is not for that. The referendum is just for one simple agreement with the institution, and the same policy that has been ongoing in Greece for the past 5 years. We've seen what this has caused. The debt is greater, unemployment is higher, poverty is higher, depression is higher, suicidal rates are higher. So the chance to change this policy, not only in Greece, but all over Europe, is from starting by voting no in Athens and Greece.
Yeah, Manolis, just to back you up here, I'm just using some government stats here. Have a look here on my laptop. This is the social impact of austerity. And then I'm seeing 35% more increase in suicides, and also so many more people are actually without health insurance as well. So these are the figures actually coming from your government, your current administration. I want to show you something as well, because there's been some confusion about what does no and what does yes mean? What are you really voting for? This is what your Prime Minister tweeted out yesterday. There are those who say that I have a hidden agenda, that with a no vote, I'll take Greece out of the EU. They are flat out lying to you. So this is the Prime Minister just clarifying what it is that you're voting for on July the 5th. John, why do you think there's such confusion?
I don't know. I don't think
I get it. I
they
get
know either.
exactly what the yes and the no vote is, but it doesn't matter because I don't even get to vote.
I think no one should turn out to vote. I really do.
Wow.
I think the most honourable thing that could be done right now would be for the Prime Minister to stand up and say, you know what, my back was against the wall. I ran out of things to do, and I just pulled this out the hat. I think he was expecting a resounding no. I think the momentum of the last few months, he felt that would be clear. But I think I put that down to inexperience, actually. It really boomeranged around. And right now, Greeks find themselves between a rock and a hard place. There's after this, there's no easy way out.
I'm sorry, but how do you expect the people to not be confused by the referendum question? Since, first of all, from Saturday, when the Greek delegation left from the negotiations of the Eurogroup, till Tuesday, when we were asking for another agreement because we were defaulting, there was no deal on the table. But the referendum question still remained whether we want to vote for yes or no on a deal that didn't even exist at the time. How is that not confusing? And how is that not referring to another agenda, maybe? And also, I think that it doesn't make sense for us I'm a fervent supporter of democracy, but I think that it still doesn't make sense for us to be asked to make that kind of a decision because we haven't been present in the Eurogroup, so we don't know what's happening with international alliances. We don't know what a no vote would lead to. We assume what a yes vote would lead to because Tsipras, our Prime Minister anyway,
you don't know what a yes would lead to? You really
I said that we assume. I said that we
You really don't know what a yes would mean.
I said that we assume that
living in Greece. I mean, memorandums. They want to cut down on the salaries and the.
I'm sorry, but a
pensions.
no vote, according to our Prime Minister, means more memorandums as well. According to our Prime Minister.
Yeah, according to your Prime Minister, he's going to try and negotiate it. People can still say no. That's
Isn't
the whole
he
point
trying
of
to
having
negotiate
referendums.
in the past
Even if
5
Tsipras
months?
comes with a new memorandum, we can vote no again.
I feel like we're recreating
so we will be
Margot's
voting.
Facebook page right now. Manolis and Ileana, just give me a little space here because I feel like I'm living Margot's Facebook page right now. Let me just hand over to Malika for a moment. Just take a moment, Manolis.
Well,
and
there's a
Ileana.
question on what all of this uncertainty means for Greek people. And for one person, she says it doesn't mean good things. So this is Maria, and this is what she told the stream.
The crisis has taken away our dreams. The crisis has violently changed the plans that everyone, in more or less the same degree, everyone had for the future. I am a European Union citizen, and I want to remain a European Union citizen, but I want to remain a citizen in a Europe that it is about solidarity, and it is about the harmony among the people. Politicians in our Hellenic Parliament can no longer discuss about how to make a better life for the Greek citizens, but they only discuss about money. Politicians are no longer free to decide about the best for our country.
Says the crisis has taken over her dreams, and I know she's not the only one. There's several tweets who are saying the same thing.
All right, I'm going to wrap this up. We could talk about this for about the next 3 hours, guess, but John and Manolis and Margot and Ileana, I just let you do that in Greece with your Greek friends and family because I kind of got a sense of how people are going backwards and forwards. If you could sort of prognosticate about what might happen next, John, what would you say?
I think, as I said, the Rubicon has been crossed. We are now really trying to figure out what the least fallout will be from a protracted. The best scenario is a protracted distancing from Europe, in my opinion. That's the best scenario. The worst scenario would be an immediate one, but I don't think anyone wants to see that.
Sure, Margot, what would be your prediction?
Oh, I don't know. I think that the referendum will be a yes. That's what I suppose. And then we will continue having a few difficult years. But what I hope, and I mean, we have to hope in something at this moment, is that, okay, difficult times will come again and again, but we need to change a few things. That's what I feel. I hope that through these difficult times, we change, we make reforms, and we have in many years, maybe from now, for our children, a better country where we will not need loans in order to survive.
Sure. I feel this is your hope rather than your prediction. I feel this is your
this is my hope, and I'm not sure that this is going to happen.
Yeah.
It's tough.
You got a round of applause from John there. Ileana, if you can predict what was going to happen next. I mean, it's been an amazing time for Greece. This week has been an extraordinary week. What do you think might happen next?
I think that I will agree with both Marga and John. I will agree with Marga that I believe that the referendum will probably be a yes, but I think that by autumn we will have probably left the Eurozone. But it's funny that Marga said that, because I think that my hope is for people to regain hope, myself included, because I'm 21 years old, and I think that if I go back to my country after my graduation, I will be unemployed for the rest of my life.
Wow.
That's what I feel like.
Can I add a little bit?
Yeah, John, you've got more prognosticating to do. Go ahead.
Okay. No. Actually, no. It's important to finish this on a lighter note, and I just want to say to Margot and to anyone, you know, this isn't the end. This may very well be the best thing that ever happened to us.
Wow.
I started my small business in 2012 at the previous elections. People were running around like headless chickens. I kept my cool. I took a risk. And today I'm proud. I'm a proud owner of a small but successful business. What happens when you have people with nothing left to lose is that they're the ones who can afford to take risks. And I see it around me. I see young people with amazing ideas, and even if a few of them come to fruition, the world will be a better place. So don't give up hope. It's just you just got to know where to look for it. That's all.
Yeah, we saw a little picture of you here, right here at the Alice Inn, which is the inn that you run in Athens. There's something that caught my eye, and this is your foreign minister. This was in The Guardian, and your foreign minister says, "I'd rather cut off my arm than accept a bad deal." Scooting down here, the finance minister, excuse me, he said he'd rather cut off his arm than accept a bad deal. Manolis, in the next week, do you think your finance minister is going to have 2 arms or 1 arm?
Well, I think that me and Mr. Varoufakis have a criteria of what it is a good deal and what's not a deal. I've seen the deals that the Greek government has proposed to the institutions, and I don't like them too. So I would suppose that I should suggest to him to cut his hand off.
All right. To John and Manolis and Margot and Ileana, I really am saying goodbye now, because otherwise we won't stop talking, and I know you've got a referendum to get to. Thank you so much for giving us a little insight of what it's like, just having the conversations about what's happening in Greece. It's been really, really enlightening. Malika, any thoughts from our online community and the conversation going on there?
This one kind of echoes what John said, and trying to end on a positive note. This is Rinko, who says this is a rare opportunity for Greeks to reclaim people's legitimate space in the exercise of democratic process, so go grab it.
Wow. All right. We'll be watching with great interest. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you online. Take care.